Well, I got my own copy of this book about 11 years ago anyway. But the road to 2019 is everything but smooth. Now the primaries came and many pundits are still asking what has happened. Now they weren't as scientific as they thought. Now how gorgeous were these primaries? Now wait a minute. Did anyone lace the air with some sleeping dust on the day? Because I found some of these politicians fighting very hard to stay awake. Now that didn't even slip the notice of Nigeria's music sensation, Small Doctor. Yes, his song was on catching them dozing off. Well, Deja Vu 2014 on my mind. Once the APC candidate emerged then, the PDP were quick to empty the garbage truck. Is that what I see after the emergence of Atiku Abubakar? Well, that's a question for the Buhari campaign team. Some just got burnt. How badly? I don't know. It's an awful smell in the kitchen for some and a sweet smelling aroma for others. What's the food like in your side of the kitchen? Stove on, pot on fire. What's cooking? Well, it's Political Stew. I'm Sulaiman Ledo. Welcome. I hear some politicians are suffering panic attacks. You know, sometimes you sleep, you really can't even believe what exactly has happened. The science of direct primary and the indirect primary of the APC. To some, it was a nightmare, and others, glowing moments. The political environment has been jolted, temporarily though. So, well, no, the PDP isn't fighting. That's bad and good. Good for the PDP and bad for the APC. Now, you can get to watch us live online on the go at tvcnews.tv/live streaming. We're on live on YouTube, TVC News Nigeria Live, and youtube.com/political stew. Now, you can also watch us live on Facebook. And remember to download the Political Stew app on Google Play Store and follow the show and news and politics. We'll take a moment. When we'll come back, we'll be looking at the morning after the primaries. Well, the primaries are already here, 2019. Now it looks so clear for so many, but blurry for some others. But how does this truly work? Well, George Eke, he's an attorney at law and also a member of the People's Democratic Party. He joins us here in Political Stew. Good to have you join us this evening.
Thank you so much, Suleiman.
I'm so excited having you because I recall we were trying to reach out to you last week on the program. You were right there in the East.
Yeah, sure.
Specifically, you were in Owerri. Let's start from your experience, what you witnessed, because it was a flurry of primaries going across the country until we saw the last and the very final one from the PDP. How did it go in Imo State?
It was a flurry of activities, like you said, and Suleiman, I can promise you these are exciting times. Exciting times indeed that the conspiracies have started and they are resulting in either jubilation, betrayals, and some people are protesting and others are angry, you know, which is part of, in short, with all of that, it reminds me how succinct, you know, the name of your program is, Political Stew. If anything that aptly captures, you know, what is happening in the political arena, it is the name of this program, in the sense that in the kitchen, you don't go too far away. You know, once you put something in the, on fire, you don't go too far.
So you have to watch it?
Or you have to watch it, otherwise people watch it for you, and you know the implication of those who watch it for you. And of course, it could get burnt. At the end of the day, you are ending up with a burnt sacrifice. Or the same way you give somebody power, you now know what the person is like. It is like liquid egg. You put it in a frying pan, it comes out solid. But when it comes to something like potato, it comes hard, but ends soft and all of that. So those are things that happen, you know, in the political arena, as captured very aptly by the name of this program. But you see, in Imo State, it was fit and starts. At a particular point in time, it's like, oh no, the primaries have been conducted. No, it hasn't been conducted. Of course, everybody will head to Abuja. Before you know what is happening, something gets cancelled. Another one is done. You don't know where it is done, but figures keep coming up and all of that. And the social media is full of those who have won the election. And indeed, 2 days after, you may hear that they haven't won the election and all of that. As it stands now, especially with the APC is actually in a mess in Imo State, you know, in the sense that they have about 3 factions, you know. At a particular point in time, a particular faction fizzled out into other parties. The other one remained resilient and all of that. The latest is that the governor, you know, with his own fashion, had gone ahead to conduct, or at least it was said that the people came from the national headquarters and they conducted another primaries on Sunday, where his son-in-law became successful. And of course, he got the ticket for Olu Zone and all of that, you know, while the other people boycotted the primaries. The effect of that boycott, I do not know, and I do not know whether the national headquarters has actually submitted the name of this or whether it has been concluded. So, in other words, it is hanging. It's just like what we say in a political kitchen. If you put too much salt, you may end up finding that the meal is inconclusive. But if, for instance, the appropriate condiments are put, then you eat it with relish, and that is good governance.
Let's talk about the appropriate condiments and talk about the ingredients. I said I was going to ask you this live. I deliberately didn't want to ask you, you know, prior to this program. You're still a member of the PDP?
Yes, I am.
It's amazing. When everyone was leaving, you never left. I've known you to be a member of the PDP, you know, all through the political dispensation in the country. So what did you see that made you stay back when a lot of people were actually leaving the PDP?
You see, the PDP is like the model of a party. If there is anything, if you notice, APC is trying to see if they can ape PDP, they can copy PDP.
They're trying to copy PDP?
Oh, you're sure. Because almost everything, including the mistake they are making now, are the mistakes PDP made while they were in office. In short, they didn't learn anything. In short, they are learning the ropes, as it were. If you notice, all the whole idea of having to lock up the National Assembly, all of those are repetitions of what happened in PDP. But you see, PDP has gone a step ahead of them in the sense that PDP has come out now, would I say, very refurbished and brand new, as it were. Indeed, I was pleasantly surprised with the kind of outing, you know, Uche Secondus, that's the chairman of PDP, made, you know, with the Port Harcourt Convention. PDP is known for people going to court. You know, somebody would have stopped that, you know, convention from holding in a particular venue, and that person takes an injunction, even though the injunctions are no longer available, you know, to stop certain persons from, you know, kicking off the whatever. You could not hear a whimper from anybody. And if you look at what happened to the candidates, I mean, how the candidates came out and how they were talking about how you can vote for them without having to run down their opponents. It was unlike the Nigerian politician that we know, that would have started by telling you how bad his opponents are and all of that. But they came telling you exactly why they think you should vote for them on what appeared to be a manifesto night prior to the voting. And what did they do? In all their speeches, they ended up saying that they were going to work with whoever emerges. That is unlike the PDP we used to know, where there was a lot of rancor and all of that.
Because what do you think
so
actually went?
If we are now looking at why PDP has remained this or stayed this resilient, it's because PDP is in all the nooks and crannies of this country. All the hamlets of the, in short, you drive into a place that ordinarily you thought nobody lives in. You will see PDP flag. You will see somebody who's one party chairman, probably is a fisherman somewhere in Bayelsa, or one truck pusher somewhere in Castina. He is the party ward chairman of that particular place. And he is working as if he owns the party. So that is the difference between it and other parties.
You said something a while ago while trying to give, explain what has happened with some of these people during their primaries. Some results were actually declared on the social media, while some others were given by different factions. Also, we'll go back to the social media. The talk then, and even in the ruling party was that once, some members of the ruling party had this belief that once this was done and dusted, there will be bickerings within the PDP, and that perhaps would shred the umbrella and see that more people will leave the PDP. But on live television, what Nigerians saw was unprecedented. Everyone keen into, the agenda of the winner, Atiku Abubakar. What truly went down? Is it some kind of desperation or realization that truly there was a mistake in the past?
You see, PDP has taken a deep breath, and the result of that deep breath is what we are seeing now. Indeed, as huge as that convention was, and no bickering came out of it, and nobody has gone to court, nobody has said he is either cheated or that he's been sidelined or excluded. That shows you the resolve of the PDP with regard to that. And I can tell you this for free. It has sent jitters in the spines of the ruling government. The APC is, in short, they would have wished it wasn't Atiku that emerged. Meanwhile, I'm not trying to.
But before then, some said it would be a walkover if it, falls on Atiku Abubakar. But
walkover on whose side?
That it will be a walkover for President Buhari at the election.
If there is anything, I'm sure they have gone into their workroom, to begin to find out what strategies they can use. In other words, for some reason they have put the wrong foot forward. A few people, even though the campaigns have not started, the campaigns will start about the next 5 weeks. That's on 18th of next month. Good. But I can assure you that the campaigns have started. What probably will start then will be rallies, but the campaigns have started fully. And what are they trying to talk about? Trying to see if they can begin to smear the person of the PDP flag bearer. That was the mistake PDP had made at the point in time when Muhammad Buhari came out. They were busy trying to find where his certificate was, trying to see if they could, smear him, his old age and all of that. The man kept campaigning, kept going. And before PDP knew what was happening, he had been elected president. They had a good consultant. Indeed, I'm sure I told you that after what APC did in 2015, I made up my mind I was going to read journalism. The reason is this: that is one profession that can change the mind of anybody. On the whole of Nigeria, we were caught in a mass hysteria, collective hypnotism. That's everybody was hypnotized. We were in a spell. Everybody kept, we say, what of the certificate? They said, forget it. And they kept hardening us until we emptied all our votes. At a point in time when we said we needed to interrogate this man by way of a debate. Let us find out how articulate he is and all of that. Probably if he had done that, a few things that we know about him now wouldn't have shocked us. But their consultant said, don't expose this man to any debate. Indeed, don't subject him to any torture of debate. Just say he's not ready to. Do you know what APC said at that point in time? APC said that the debate was going to be compromised. And of course, Suleiman, I don't know how any debate can be compromised. Anybody who has come out for any political position, there are only questions they can ask you in what you plan to do about unemployment, maybe infrastructure, the economy, the security and all of that. Nobody can come and ask you about coefficient of linear expansion in physics, or ask you to begin to solve a problem in quadratic equation and all of that. So the debate couldn't have been in any way compromised, but they refused to, because the consultant said, don't expose this man. Either because he felt that the man didn't have a lot of oratory power and all of that, and it was going to be a minus. So they packaged him in such a manner that by the time we finished voting, that was when we now knew who we were talking about. Integrity. That is the mistake PDP made at that point in time. But APC is making that mistake now. Before you know what is happening, they start talking about, what of the corruption credentials of Atiku Abubakar, and Atiku Abubakar will be elected because there's nothing to prove about that.
Did you say he will be elected?
Oh, sure.
You're very sure of that?
Oh, no, sure, without doubt. As a matter of fact, APC knows so. That is why they are panicking.
George Eke, let's speak about that, more on that. How sure are you when you say Atiku Abubakar will be elected?
I tell you this, this man has been in this game for upwards of 40 years. And there is nothing in politics that is more rewarding than experience. You can read any move anybody makes. If somebody makes a policy program, you know where he's going to. If somebody stands up in the National Assembly and proposes a particular bill, you know who told him to propose. You know what is the end of that particular bill. That it is only experience that can give you that. But see, when you are naive, if you're in political neophyte, it's almost like you are a vessel that doesn't have a compass. It keeps moving you. You could be lucky. But if you are if you are riding on an established structure, that can deliver you. If there is a structure in place, it can deliver a goat. A goat becomes either the governor or the House of Representatives because he is using that structure. But if you come out, no matter how brilliant you are, you will be bubbling with ideas. And my reaction to such people is that, look, you may be you may be a good person, a good speaker in the National Institute of International Affairs, and we'll give you a standing ovation. We applaud your speech. You are good. You are intellectually sound. You can deliver a speech in Yaradua Center in Abuja. But you see, when it comes to politics, there are a lot of, it's a concentric
because I'm trying to bring this,
of conspiracies.
I'm actually trying to bring this back to the people now. And in February, the campaigns will start in earnest. And a lot of Nigerians will be eager to hear these people speak to them. Even though some, we still have some others, alternatives who are still there. But specifically, since you're a member of the PDP, we're looking at the PDP against the ruling party, which is the APC. And going forward, if you say Atiku Abubakar stands a chance that even the APC, they know that, well, they are losing this, perhaps we should start looking at some of those indices which you have seen that has made you say all of this. It's barely 48 hours since his emergence, and you're already seeing him there in 2019.
You know why a number of people had confidence and voted for him? One, Atiku Abubakar connects. I'm not going to say as against so that I don't make undue comparison. Let me just focus on him. He connects. He's a friend of everybody. He relates. He's comfortable working with anybody. As a matter of fact, all he requires as his own campaign mantra is to say, get into a community or a particular section of the country and say, you know what? My government is going to look out for very competent people among your people. In other words, I'm not going to keep appointing people who are either related to me or are from my own side of the divide, as it were, if there is a divide, or at least from my own side of the country. Those are the people that some people are very comfortable working with. In the case of Abubakar will work with anybody from Bayelsa to Southwest, from Southwest to Northeast, from Northeast to North Central. And that is a major advantage. You know what APC rode on was at that point in time, PDP was seen as a very fraudulent government. That corruption was almost at the state of the art in the article of faith in PDP. And APC came, we are coming with a man of integrity, a man who has only sandals, a man who, in short, the story then was that Muhammad Buhari had only a 3-bedroom flat somewhere in Abuja. He never owned any other house. And these are things that, of course, people said, no, why not? Vote these people out. Because at that point in time, PDP didn't think anybody could vote them out. Conversely, if somebody now comes and said, look, I can hear your cries. I can hear you. I am going to make this country such that everybody is included and that government will be for everybody. That is a killer punch. Because what they have already is a situation where some people have complained and gotten tired of complaining. Some people, so if he says, for instance, you know what, I'm going to look at this herdsmen issue and treat it for what it is.
Now, talking about herdsmen issue, let me quickly cut in there, because first, Atiku Abubakar also, well, he's Fulani just like the president.
Yes.
So we have two Fulanis who will be going head to head, and perhaps they'll also be talking about the herdsmen.
That's even the exciting thing about it. Two of them are from the north, they are Fulani. And indeed, somebody said quite recently that two of them are all headsmen.
Yeah, they're headsmen.
Okay.
Headsmen.
So that makes the game very, very exciting. In short, it's almost going to be like a New Yam festival if you remove all the bickering that goes with politics, because we are going to find out that, you see, the supporters of Muhammad Buhari have always said that The people who vote for Muhammad Buhari are the hoi polloi, the people who are down there. The truck pushers, you know, the wheelbarrow pushers and all of that. That those people are not familiar with all the things that we read in Financial Times about the GDP and income per capita, whether it is dropping or going down. They don't read newspapers. They probably do not watch political stew. But all they require, all they want to hear is, say Baba, Megaske, and they go ahead and vote them. And they are quite a number. And because you see, in politics, votes are not weighted. My vote is the same, has the same weight as that of my security man. You get a point? So, and the bulk of all of these people are exactly what the APC is banking on. But I got news for them. Atiku has access to that market. He can buy from that same market. They're all shopping from the same ground. So somebody says, no, the whole of Northwest, you know, will invariably we invariably vote for Muhammad Buhari. And I say, no, it is not true. Because there are quite a number of people who are feeling the pinch of what is happening in government, the economy and all of that, and who are saying that we want something different. Not only that, if you notice that there are quite a number of people who have defected from APC to PDP that are from the Northwest. They are most likely going to work for Atiku. So you end up seeing some kind of variegated voting pattern in the Northwest. So because the Northwest is not monolithic.
Absolutely not. But again, what's the vibe you get from the Southeast? Because you're from the Southeast.
So having dwelt so much on this Northwest that appears to be the very comfort zone of the APC, we now go to Northeast. Of course, Northeast. Somebody said, okay, that Muhammad Buhari will also get a lot of votes from the Northeast, given the fact that he has been fighting Boko Haram. But when we get to that bridge, we'll cross it, because we do know that Atiku Abubakar is tying up the votes around that place. He had already started working. From this weekend, last weekend, he had already started working. Then, the middle belt is his for takes.
Well, why do you say that?
If you notice what has been happening in the Middle Belt with regards to the killings, especially around Benue area, and the fact that the people themselves feel that government is not doing enough. It's not that they have said it severally, that government is not doing enough to rescue them from the hands of these marauding killers, whoever they are, whether they come from Niger Republic or Chad, Futajelon, wherever they are. At the point in time, we had that they were foreigners and all of that, and we were wondering how our security forces will allow foreigners to invade and kill our people. But let's keep it that way, and the matter has not been resolved. Then for the Southeast, of course, you notice that the Southeast complained about marginalization. By the time they now found out that it went beyond marginalization to exclusion, there's some disquiet in the Southeast now. Nobody is talking again. Every weekend, people bring out their voters card and make sure that it is where it is.
That's a deeper word.
Exclusion.
Sure.
Oh, sure. It's exclusion. Total exclusion. They are not anywhere and it is so brazenly done. On all appointments, you find that 0 for Southeast. You don't find anybody appointed there. And they're taking note of it. They are taking note of it. And what am I there waiting for? Election time. And like I told you, every weekend, everybody checks his PVC to be sure that by the time you meander through traffic, through checkpoints, in the Southeast, there is a police checkpoint in every 2 kilometers. All of them extorting money. They are hardly protecting anybody, but they must stop you, search you, collect some money from you. The usual thing. But you see, they are on almost every 2 kilometers. Everybody comes back home after a rough day and begins to say, let there be an election so that at least I can change what the circumstances are. So, in other words, Southeast is for him for takes. Added to that is the fact that the only place, the landing spot of APC in the Southeast is Imo State. And of course, like we said in our intro, APC is in shambles in Imo State. That's the only place where they have a governor. And as I speak now, that it's just like the whole place is being sliced. So there is no SPC.
So in your analysis, from the way you painted it, and you say, well, in some other places there are bickerings, you talked about what is happening or what has happened in Benue and specifically the Middle Belt.
Yes.
Do you think that going forward, we're likely to see more people move to your camp. I'm talking about the PDP.
Of course. You see, the victory of Waziri Atiku Abubakar over the weekend has changed the political trajectory of this country. Everybody is if there's no other thing anybody's talking about other than an Atiku and how an Atiku will become president. And for those who don't like him and who don't think he should be president, they are saying how he cannot be president. But this way or that way, Atiku is the institution. You are discussing him, whether you like him or you don't like him, but he's the institution. He is the man of the moment. So the point I'm making now is that he goes beyond that to the South-South. It is his for takes.
Where does this leave the former president, Olusegun Obasanjo, who before now has always shown his disdain for Atiku Abubakar and also has withdrawn his support for President Buhari?
You see, there's one beautiful thing every politician should learn from Atiku. And that's probably why I said he has 40 years experience behind him. You notice that on the grounds of the convention, he took time to thank the man in his Ota residence or wherever he lives, and I think he lives in Abeokuta. Obasanjo did not come to the convention. He did not vote for him. He did not organize any delegates for him, but he took time and thanked him. Do you know what he also did? At the end of the convention, when he had been declared winner, he went to Nyesom Wike's house or office to pay a courtesy call. Because, of course, you know, Atiku is just coming into the party just a few months ago, and the person who held sway, or who still holds sway in PDP, is Nyesom Wike. Indeed, in combination with Fayose. And for some reason, there's been rumor, that two of them worked against him. But he had to go and thank him, pay him a courtesy call. What does that mean? It's a kind of, he has put a moral burden on him. That a man who you apparently did not vote for and probably worked against, but he has emerged and he has come to thank you. So that makes him, that he has already started that inclusion that I told you that his personality carries around. He is not like going to say, those who didn't vote for me, I'm going to punish you with either 5%
I think this discussion, that is why, well, on Political Stew, we'll let you do more of the talking so that we can actually let you give up your points. I'm hoping that in the days ahead, especially when the campaigns start, we'll have to, ask you to come back again and tell us more on what you see, today, that perhaps a lot of people haven't actually seen to have warranted you to say, you will be in office. That's the PDP will be in office in 2019. George Eke, a fine place for us to say many thanks for being such nice company.
It's my pleasure.
On Political Stew.